Alright guys, so in this video we're going to talk about the letters of recommendation. And this is one of those videos you watch in between your studies. I know if you're studying for step 1 you're not quite there yet, but it's something where if you took about 8-10 minutes, I don't know, it's just one of those things to kind of pass the time, but I think it's something that can benefit you in the future, because at some point after you get past step 1 you'll start doing rotations and you'll come across some attendings. And a lot of times what I tell people is to, if you ask an attendant for a letter of recommendation, if I say, in my humble opinion, you can draft one for them. Tell them, look, I'll draft one for you. I'll give it to you in Word form, so you can modify it if you want to. And I think it takes the pressure off them, because think about this, most of the attendings that give you these letters, they're just going to put some generic thing on there that's not really going to make you stand out. And being an IMG or coming from a school such as where I did, you need every little point that can count. So when it comes to these letters, you got to do it a certain way. And I think we can, if you look at what I'm about to show you, I think you can kind of develop a letter that's meaningful, that's easy to read, and can really emphasize kind of your strengths in what those program directors are looking for. So I hope you like the video. If you find benefit in this content, do me a favor, hit that the like and the subscribe button. It does kind of help. It kind of helps push the videos a little bit more closer to the top, and the more feedback I get from that, at least I know it's benefiting others, and it gives you something to kind of track. So hope you like the video. Alright guys, so here's an example. Obviously it's on letterhead. The first line reads, "It is with great pleasure that I recommend, so-and-so, insert your name, for the, say, psychiatry residency program." The first line, it's very simple, it's very direct, but it's very specific. Even if you're not going to psychiatry, you could put internal medicine, you could put family medicine, you could put emergency medicine, doesn't matter. But I'm telling you, the more specific you can be with your letters of recommendation, the better. Because we know there's so many, residency is such a sought after position and such, is that we know people kind of shotgun it, and they're going to apply to multiple specialties. But the more specific you can be to a specialty, I think it's going to have a lot more weight. We know when people just put generic letters out, okay? And I don't want to say it works against you, just in my opinion it does. But the more specific you can be, the better. The second paragraph here is usually what I always, it's more about what I observe, okay? What I've observed about these guys. It says, "I have worked directly with so-and-so over the course of his psychiatry rotation and have had the opportunity to know him on a personal and professional level. Blank has demonstrated excellent skills in patient assessment, recommendations for patient care, and documentation." Now, what I did here was something I learned in teaching. It's like the rule of 3, right? You have patient assessment, recommendations for patient care, and documentation. When you do a delivery, it's like when you say something to people, you do it in 3s, okay? For example, if I said bigger, stronger, you would at the end always say faster, right? You want to make things bigger, stronger, faster. It's a rule of 3s. It just flows better. It reads better. It's easier. So again, excellent skills in patient assessment, recommendations for patient care, and documentation. One of his strengths is in his personal skills with all patients, a skill that will serve him well in psychiatry. Blank clearly has a drive and work ethic that would be a great benefit to any program. I like to use the word work ethic. It's something, obviously, they're trying to hire somebody that's not going to be a pain in their side for multiple years. They need to know that you're a good worker, okay? Now, this one is, I always say this little paragraph is going to be very specific to your field, okay? Specific to the field. Blank has expressed to me his interest in psychiatry and an eager desire to pursue this field of medicine. I feel he's an exceptional candidate for this field. He has shown a deep interest in understanding the behavioral health of patients, how their thoughts, beliefs, and actions affect their health. What I do there, the rule of 3, right? How their thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And again, just switch this to some type of internal medicine or family medicine kind of statement here. But use that rule of 3. Again, it flows well. This is a passion he clearly demonstrates. All right, so this lets him know that I've seen him, and I think he's, that they're a good candidate. Now, this is where I have asked the students. I said, give me an example. I need something that I can put in there. It says, furthermore, blank has demonstrated leadership skills. Remember how we said they're looking for leadership. So, they're looking for someone who's going to show up on time, someone who's not going to be a problem, someone who's going to be a leader in their place per se. So, I should have even had this word like in italics, something that's going to draw. I mean, in my letter of recommendation that I had used, I made sure these words were actually in italics. So furthermore, blank has demonstrated leadership skills that are evident by him serving on some blank chapter community service chair, where he founded volunteering opportunities for medical students. During his time with me, he was punctual and is punctual. Remember, we like when people show up on time. I'd put that in italics, and completed his assessments as well as documentation in a very timely manner. Okay, means you get your stuff done. A program director doesn't have to worry about you. It is his dedication and professionalism that clearly sets him apart from his peers. He collaborated well within our multidisciplinary team. This says the guy works well in a team. Remember, half the problem that program directors have these days is it's the multiple personalities. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I mean it's all the different personalities within the program and how you got to work together. It's very difficult. So you got to put stuff in there that says you're going to work well with the team. In your interview with them, you're going to stress that you work well in a team, and that how would you handle a stressful situation. You're going to give an example of that in your actual interview. Now, this little statement, it's just a one-liner, but I like to bring a lot of attention to it. Perhaps the greatest compliment I can give so-and-so is his excellent bedside manner. You can that bodes well to any profession or specialty. This is a skill that made blank a favorite among patients. I'd say use that line. So, it is with my highest recommendation that I recommend blank to your residency program. He will be a true asset to the program, peers, and his patients. There's that rule of 3 again. If you have any additional questions about blank, please feel free to contact me via telephone or email. I signed it. I put my own personal cell phone down there. But use this as an outline, and I stress it. Do a draft. Draft it for your attending, and let them change it if they want to. But I mean, if you use this is easy to read. It's very specific. Put some of the key words in italics. It'll draw them to it, and I think it's exactly what they're looking for. I use this for a future resident. I use this for a medical student this year, but I was also asked to write a recommendation for a judge who is going for a position, and I essentially use the same thing. It is with great pleasure that I recommend Judge so-and-so for the position of circuit judge. That's just a bump up. I've worked directly with them over the past however long it was, a rotation, but I've worked for them for 2 years, how they handle legal cases, blah, 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 blah. I put one of the strengths. They've demonstrated competency, basically, that they're competent in their profession, just like a medical student's competent in getting patient assessments, doing their notes done in a timely manner, all the documentation. Furthermore, I like to use those little transition words, right? Furthermore, comma, blank has demonstrated leadership skills that are evident by, give an example. I found them to be punctual, thorough in every aspect of their position. Their dedication and professionalism sets them apart. And again, perhaps the greatest compliment, blah, 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 bedside manner. It translates well to anything, even the court process, legal matter. That made them a favorite among, patients, and clients and physicians. So it is with my highest recommendation that I recommend so-and-so for the position of circuit judge. But if you see, it works well. It flows well. It's an easy read. Make sure you italicize some critical points. And do the draft, guys. I think it'll really help. And anyways, it's just my opinion, and hope it helps.